they're still coming in and I have to manually accept everybody. So if you're new to Jobstream, which most of us are because we've really haven't even launched yet, but we've been live for a few months and quickly growing, actively growing our creator network. And we've started doing these co-working sessions as a way to help new creators navigate the start of Jobstream. In doing so, we've seen some really amazing and lucrative success. Like one of the reasons we invited Brian was he's found a way to have JobStream that started enhancing his core business and kind of lifetime of expertise that he's built. So I invited him here today, but we're looking for more participants in the future. And really the purpose of this is to help each other be successful and use this time to network, use this time to ask us for requests on new products and features that may be forthcoming or ideas that you have. Only because we don't know your worlds the way that you know your worlds. You're creators and you're experts, and many of you are influencers in their own right in the affiliate space. You're also career coaches, you're also philanthropists, you're also educators. So you know your worlds. We want to make JobStream meaningful for all of you. And that looks differently and means different things to different people. So feel free to use the chat. In fact, if you guys want to use it as a place for connecting and saying hello, we love that. Tell us where you're joining us from. I myself, I'm in Connecticut, and sometimes I'm in the city, but today I'm in Connecticut, New York City, that is. And drop in your LinkedIn, but really the vibe here is casual and designed to be informational and helpful. So I think we've got enough critical mass, and then what we're going to do is send this recording around. But as oh, we have more people in Connecticut. Thank you, London. Amazing. Rich is our head of product. What we're going to do is spend a couple minutes just kind of open Q&A. If you have any challenges that you have with the platform, I'm going to introduce Rich in a second. He can help lead through some discussion here. If you have any major successes, even better. Let's talk about what's working and share the best practices. And then what we're going to do is just show a quick slide of like how to be successful in your first week and get to $1,000. There's a playbook that we want to help give tips. And then Brian, who we invited here, he and I are just going to have a conversation a little bit about his story and his journey with JobStream, and he's going to tell us how he is growing his own business. So with all that, we'll send it around. And why don't I do a quick intro over to Rich if you can come off the mute.
Hello, everyone.
Tell us who
So
you are. Tell us why you're here.
there's a dating TV show in the UK in the 90s called Blind Date, which I don't know if it ever made it across the pond, but that's how that used to start. It's bringing back memories of my childhood here. Someone called Cilla Black, which again is probably just a UK TV personality, but maybe she made it across the pond. I don't know. But yes, yeah. So look, I look after the product team here. And I've been working with JobStream on a few ideas for almost a year now. But about 3 or 4 months ago, we kind of honed in on this idea, which was allowing us to take our essentially unique access to a wide range of high quality direct to employer roles and find a new distribution channel and create a marketplace, a place where creators and jobs can be matched together. And we can open up new revenue streams for our creator partners and find new distribution channels for high quality jobs into kind of niche communities and audiences, and give those audiences a better experience than they get to when they go to a job board or try and find something helpful on Indeed. So that's kind of the backstory to how we got here. We broke ground on this project, I think, in mid-October, and we're moving pretty quickly. It took us 2 weeks to be live. I think some of you may have joined by the end of October, actually. So we kind of went from idea on a piece of paper to a website that people were making money off in, I think it was 13 days. Um,
Impressive.
that kind of speed of innovation we're sticking with, and we've got a couple of the guys from the team on here who are helping us move fast. And so as part of that, hopefully you're seeing a speed of development and new features coming into the product quickly. There's also a bunch of stuff in the background which hopefully you haven't seen, but has kept everything working and helping scale certain things, and us bringing in new job partners and that kind of stuff, which there's some heavy lifting in the background, but from your point of view, should just mean that the experience is sort of gradually improving. And yeah, I think on my side, I've had some great conversations with a few people on this call, but always keen to hear more from you, what's working, and then what are we not doing, what can we do more of, and what helps, what are the challenges you're facing, what's taking up time, what's stopping you from sharing more jobs with your audience, what are your audiences saying about the jobs that you're sharing and the experience there. So yeah, very very keen, whether it's on here or just kind of reach out to me directly. I'll share my email afterwards, but yeah, I'd love to just get that sort of direct feedback and be brutal with it, because it's much more fun when people are completely honest and tell us what they really think.
Thank you. And I've worked with Rich for a while to understand that sometimes I'll ask like, how's it going? How are you? And he's like, it's okay. And that doesn't mean it means great in London speak. So, if it's if you hear that, it like we get really excited when there's good feedback, but we're actually like looking for all the feedback. So, if I can, I'll put the presentation up just to go through a few helpful tips. And okay, so Jobstream, if it's your first time checking us out after you've been accepted and applied, so we're a new talent audience company, and we're backed by a much larger company called Higher Innovations, where we've had decades of success innovating and starting up new ventures in the talent and human capital space. So that's where we got our start. Um, we are in the business of helping creators grow their communities and their incomes. So, what Shopmy and LTK have done for the product consumer world is exactly what we're doing with job content. And it's one of those things like ask yourself, like, am I posting content to my community or my social media followers and saying, like, if you're doing anything around the topics of get ready for work with me or get ready with me or a day in the life as a nurse or what have you, then JobStream fits in really naturally. It also fits in with all of the creators who have been scraping the web for hours and hours and hours and testing links and finding they're not working. And for those people who were already creating the job experience for your community, you've already learned that it's a high value piece of content. You've already learned and seen like people want this, whether you're unemployed or actively looking. Jobs are so relevant, right? They're the backbone of everything that we do for our livelihoods. So we are emerging as the market leader in affiliate platform for jobs and careers. And, we thank you for being part of the journey with us. And we also have a new product. If we have time after we share, where after we talk to Brian, we want to show you how to use the AI content creator, which is think of like if you're a content creator and you're already using like Canva or any of the Adobe tools, it's just like that and meant to be optimized for job content. So adding things and personalized touches like your brand colors and summarizing the jobs that have a lot of information that will help your audience know what they want to click and apply to. We're going to talk about maximizing your revenue with Brian and hear a little bit about what he's started working on, and then leave some time for open Q&A at the end. And then please, again, this is casual, so if you're just joining, feel free to drop in any questions on the chat and we'll get to them. So understanding the fundamentals of the revenue optimization through JobStream is really key to the way that you're building. What I will say is if you are not somebody who is already out of the gate posting job content, you're going to notice that there's a slower build and you have to build the habit with your community. And that's perfectly normal. And when we see the super users who are earning like $1,000 in their first week, it's because they've already had that cadence of content built in. So it's an amazing goal. It's very achievable very quickly. Um, you also need to have great matches with your audience. So test different links, simply asking questions like, what does my audience want to see? We had a creator yesterday, Reagan, say just a yes or no. Do people want to see more jobs? Yes or no. A place to get started where you're already engaging with them, just to give you some tips. And then the algorithm gets really smart. So the more that we know, the more your audience engages, the more the matching is going to be putting the right, proactively putting the right roles in front of you as they become available for you to share with your community. So, um, it's a learn and it's going to compound and grow. Um, and so applications are what drives payouts. You might be familiar with other affiliate programs that are on like a cost per click or a brand sponsorship or a brand partnership. We are not that, and the reason is we really want to preserve quality at the core of what we're doing. At the core of what we're doing is helping people connect to job opportunity. And that's what we're measuring here, and that's what we are rewarding success on. I think we are all familiar with the bot scene that's happening across digital media and fake bots, deep fakes, vibe coded resumes, people just clicking and clicking and clicking and driving up ad prices. And if you've already been in affiliate and content marketing, you're very familiar with navigating those. So that's why we've gone with our cost per application model. Consistency is what builds trust, and that's a little bit about how we get to that number of 1,000 a week. And then relevancy is everything, knowing your audience, who are you posting content for. There are a few like low-hanging fruit items where if you're just getting started, use a brand that people recognize, use a brand that you love, use a brand that you are a consumer of. It makes it really easy to talk about it in a way that's content and sounds natural. Payout variations. So there will be different opportunities to earn at different levels. Like what we know about the hiring industry is there are cycles and seasonality, like with anything else. So there are, if you're in any kind of educational or healthcare, there's always this graduation period and a burst of new talent that are looking and coming to the job market. So we see different spurts of activity like that or around retail. And that's why you see people always ask us, like, is it always going to be $10 per application or 25? The answer is it fluctuates, and we have our own data to know and predict what those seasons are. So we will get better at like over time, giving you a heads up when those moments are going to be, and hopefully building some other campaigns to drive more engagement. So, I'd like to invite my friend Brian. Brian, you want to come off of mute?
How's it going? Hey everyone.
Brian, thank you so much for joining. You are one of our original career creators. And what I would love to share about the story of Brian is we reached out cold on LinkedIn, as many of us do, building a business, and just saying, hey, like you've had an amazing track record in your career and as a career creator already, and your business is around helping others be successful in their careers. So, had a few open conversations and then learned a little bit more about what's made Brian successful and his business, and he's brought a whole new energy and passion to the idea. So, Brian, just take a moment to introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. Tell us about your business. Tell us about Jobstream and how it fits in.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate it immensely the opportunity. Pleasure working with you hand in hand over the last few weeks. And just want to say hi everyone, and I appreciate you being here. Um, I'm Brian. I've been in technology for 29 years. I started young when I was 13 years old. I'm not going to tell you my whole life story, but about 8 years ago, I I wanted to make a positive impact in the world at large. I lost my dad about 11, 12 years ago. May he rest in peace. And I just wanted to outlive my physical life. And then I may have come across a quote that says the two most important days of your life are the day that you are born and the day that you find out why. So I went into this quest of trying to figure out what was my purpose. And then I came across LinkedIn. I first of all, I was wasting a lot of time on Facebook and Instagram. I was using it poorly. And then I came across LinkedIn and I saw that there was a social media platform there that I had never seen. And I was like, you know what? I need to delete not my accounts, but the actual apps of my phone for Instagram and Facebook. I need to go on LinkedIn. And if I spend my time there, something good might happen. So I ended up putting all my time there, learning, watching, observing. And I was scared. And then I started liking and commenting and posting. I've written more than 5,000 posts, more than 111 million organic views on LinkedIn. It's truly changed my life. And the thing that I observed 8 years ago was that a lot of professionals were struggling to switch jobs. They were struggling to receive job offers. So I just wanted to start to share. No hidden agenda, no business plan. I just wanted to make a positive impact. And the first person that I helped, he was unemployed for 2 years. I offered him to help him 35 minutes over the phone. And then next thing you know, he gets the job offer as the right hand of the CEO of a multinational. So I asked myself whether this was a coincidence or maybe I had a gift. And then I did it again and again and again. And every single person that I was mentoring, they would get a job offer immediately. And then my wife wanted me to stop doing this. She was fed up with me gifting all my precious time, family time, away to others. But I had discovered that this was my purpose. I really, really love doing this. I found it incredible. I still do find it incredibly fulfilling to change people's lives. And I was like, no, I cannot stop. I hear you, but I cannot stop. And she was like, well, then you need to value yourself. You need to charge for this. I said, okay, sure, I'll charge for this, and then you can go and buy purses or shoes or whatever with that money. Never would have imagined that this would have turned into a multi-million-dollar business. And yeah, I just wake up happy, excited, fulfilled to change other people's lives. And it's definitely not what I thought I was going to do or what I wanted to do when I was a kid, which was, become an astronaut or a Formula One driver.
Wow. I mean, that's life goals, Brian, to build a multi-million-dollar business. And it's something that you basically stumbled into, but you kind of just followed and trusted your gut and built off of one thing to the next. And that is your superpower. And the little I've gotten to know about you is I think you're a super connector. We love to ask as a icebreaker around here, like what was your dream job going up? And you said you wanted to be an astronaut, but was it anything else? And did you try to pursue that?
No, you're kidding. I was not a good student. Anytime that someone tells me that they are afraid whether something is going to work out for them or not, I was like, I was never a good student. I went to university here in Canada, but I never actually graduated. I dropped out. I went to college. For those of you in the States, college here in Canada is like in between high school and university. So my parents convinced me, hey, at least have some sort of education, post-secondary education. So I did a 1 year there. Um, so I have an accent, as you can tell. I'm from away. So I'm like, there are no excuses. If you really want to succeed, if you want to do well, you put your mind to it and you work hard and you have good ethics and good values and you build meaningful relationships, amazing things like this partnership uh, they happen. But yeah, astronaut and Formula One driver, I still do. I sincerely hope that one day I can go to travel to space.
Well, you might soon, very soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, that's amazing. And the mission of Jobstream is also just so core to that, is like aligning people who really feel that purpose is at the center of what they're doing. And I think like some of the things we found surprising is in asking creators and influencers as we were going on this journey is how much do you as a creator give back to your followers and your community? And a lot of people pause and think, and it's a shockingly small number of how many people are really intentional about the content that they create. And so what I think JobStream is doing is attracting a creator like yourself who is very impact driven, and they're saying like, what can I do to support my followers and give back? And for any creator who's made their revenue and pushing products and things like that, like that is because your audience trusts you and likes you and will transact on what you recommend and tell them to. Um, we're seeing like so many people. pulling back on personal spending. And that's not a surprise. That's what's happening across the consumer industry. So, yeah, I think there is a really strong purpose here, and you get that, Brian. So we wanted to ask a little bit about how JobStream came on your radar. What made you reply to the LinkedIn message and go all in?
So for the women in the audience, I want to say that you have 50% of the battle in your pocket. Okay. So when a woman, especially nice looking, nice face, reaches out decently, politely, respectfully, professionally, reaches out, you have half the battle. Um, so I do want to encourage, especially women to say, hey, recognize that you have a superpower that you don't even have to do anything about that. You already have it in the pocket, in your pocket. But the message made me curious. I do receive, I'm not, I don't think that you shared how large my account is on LinkedIn, but I do receive so many messages on a daily basis. And a lot of them, the vast majority, are people just, I call them time vampires. A lot of people who just try to suck the time out of you and the life out of you. But when I was approached by JobStream, I was like, I think that there's something here. And when I think about whether there's something here, it's not something for me necessarily, something for those that I'm here to serve. And as a byproduct, I can possibly benefit from this too, or we, JobStream and us. So that's why if you talk to my wife or if you ask my wife, do you pick up uh, unknown caller ID? My wife will never pick up an unknown caller ID. I pick up every single thing pretty much within reason, just to see. I mean, what do you have to lose? And look at this. Thanks to Katie's and Rich's company, I've spent the last week and a half. I put everything to the side to build something of my own, which I'm more than happy to share with you openly, because this has blown my mind. I'm going to bed now at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, waking up at 7, not sleeping, passing out on the couch. My wife is like, when are you going to sleep in the bed? I'm like, I'm going crazy with this because I see the potential. And so anyway, more than happy to dive as deep as you want me to. I truly believe in this so much.
Oh my gosh, amazing. And you're being modest as well, but Brian has 236,000 LinkedIn followers, and I just dropped his LinkedIn link if you want to connect with him. He also has built a newsletter of over 100,000 subscribers in the career space. So, yeah, I mean, this is a real business for you, and what is what do you think is in getting to that place of like a lot of people are maybe joining because they're like, how do I become successful and posting jobs and engaging my network? But like, how did you build that audience? And like, what is there a secret?
Everything has a secret. Okay, so I'll share my secrets. Great question. My secrets have always been since the beginning. Um, and this, I didn't want to interject earlier, but this, I think that this is relevant. So when you put yourself out there, if you start or if we start by recognizing that we have an impact on somebody else's time, even when they're scrolling through their feeds, right? We need to ask ourselves how we want to be perceived by others. So do I want to be perceived as valuable or not? We don't get to control the perception, but at least we get to control the intention. Am I here to waste their time? Am I here to just show up on the feed just because? Or I'm here to make a positive impact? In my particular case, I choose to educate, to inspire, to empower, not necessarily to entertain. I just want to make sure that every single interaction with me is valuable. I start from there. Again, the more you grow, the less you can control people's reactions. A lot of people, just because you're big or because you have a lot of followers, they need to hate. You don't get to control that. So it doesn't matter. All you can do is just put yourself in the shoes of those that you're there to serve. That's one thing, the intentionality behind it. The second one is understanding your audience really well. I wanted to grow, of course. Who doesn't want to have the followers, right? Um, but I'm not willing to game the system. This is what I wanted to share with you earlier, Katie and everyone. I'm not willing to sell my soul I'm not going to get into details as to what's going on in the world right now, but a lot of people have sold their souls. I'm not willing to sell my soul to make a buck. I'm not willing to just compromise on my values. So I take a lot of pride in the way that my parents and my grandparents have raised me. And I'm not willing to make up stories. A lot of people make up stories just for follows and for likes and for comments. I'm not willing to do that. Anything that I ever share publicly or privately, they are real stories that other people can back up and say, yeah, that's my story. So that also has guided me and protected my reputation, because a reputation takes so long to build and it takes just an instant to kill, to destroy. So that and the last one with regards to knowing your audience is this concept that took me years. It gives me shivers to even think about this. It took me years to adopt. When you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. So the person that you're talking to needs to understand that you're talking to them. So I'll tell you the mistake that I made. I mean, yes, sure, I've grown so much, but I'll tell you the mistake that I've made early on. In the beginning, I didn't know this concept of marketing concept, communication concept. When you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. So I started to amass, I guess, a big following. But not everyone is the target audience that I have today. So for quite some time, I was fearful of what if I switch? What if I start talking to my target audience and everybody else leaves and my 200,000 plus followers drop me? That's not going to look good, right? We have egos, we have pride, we have numbers, we have whatever it is. The crazy thing that happened is this, that the moment that I started to talk to my target audience, so senior tech professionals in the US and Canada, currently employed with, who make $150,000 plus. Once I started to talk to them, everyone else also wanted to start talking to me. And they started to be like, hey, Brian, I see that you help senior professionals in tech. Can you also help me? Or I see that you help people who make $150,000 plus. I make only 120. Can you help me? So it's crazy. I cannot explain how that happens, but you need to be really, really laser focused on your target audience, who they are, who you want to serve, and just speak to them. And if other people come, sure, you can entertain whether you want to serve them or not, but those that you want to serve, they will feel identified for sure. Does that help?
I
Yeah.
think I think it's a really strong message, and it comes down to like the that customer centric mind of like who is the audience, what do they want,
Mm-hmm.
what are their challenges, and being so pinpointed just really helps you be clear also in your message and your value proposition. So, I mean, I can see what it's hard to do. It's hard to stay focused, especially for us entrepreneurs. And we are all here because we are entrepreneurs, and you know, growing a creator business is a constant quest of figuring out how to diversify your revenue. But it comes back to the who are you serving? Who are you helping? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I mean that really kind of summarizes how people generally are underestimating what it takes to build an audience. Um, So I think finding your niche and finding your voice is a great takeaway. And so Brian, if you were yourself a long time ago, not that long ago, you're still young, but what you know, we were just starting out to post jobs, you're just starting to create your career. Like, where do you tell people to begin now?
Where would I tell? So, just for the sake of transparency, I just want to share with everyone that I've never. So this is interesting that this relationship, this partnership has come up, because the funny thing is that I never actually posted jobs. Okay, which led me to, if Katie wants me to show, I'll show in a bit. But I've never actually posted jobs. And the interesting conversation that I had early on, like 2 weeks ago, or not even, with regards to Jobstream, is that because I have such a wide audience, if I select, let's say, 10 job postings or whatever the number might be, I feel like they will just, go to deaf ears. They're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to maximize their potential. Because my audience, we have project managers, we have product owners, product managers, software developers, AI, machine learning, database, architects, this and that. So imagine if I share 10 job postings that go to, these are the referral links, they go to wherever it is that they're, right? Radeon or whoever it is that they have those job postings. I'm just basically shooting 10 bullets, hoping that I hit everybody. So I reverse engineer this. I guess I challenge myself to be like, okay, how can I serve my audience best? And that's when I came up with my solution. But Katie, I leave it to you. This is your your meeting. If you want me to share more, I can share more. Up to you.
No, I think what's amazing to share, Brian, is what you really impressed upon us is like the innovation that you yourself have had around what you just reverse engineering and starting with the outcome you wanted, I'd say. I feel like you should show it, or if there's like a screenshot or something, or if you want, you can share your screen. What I
Yeah,
will
awesome.
caveat that is like Brian is an amazing innovator's partner because he's already got his finger on the pulse of our roadmap. And we have something coming out, but I think because of your like technical prowess anyway and your background in this, like this came very easy for you to try to do. But it comes with a disclaimer, like don't try this at home unless you're like
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
ready. But yeah, I feel like show it, Brian. I think people would love to
Okay.
see how you've worked JobStream in. I'm gonna stop
I'd
sharing.
say take the concept for everyone watching. Take the concept and think about how you can, knowing your audience as best as you know your audience, and if you don't, it's always good to communicate with them to understand them best, how you can reverse engineer within your limitations if you have any, okay? And then you find the right approach for yourself, for your audience, and for yourself. Okay, I'll show you what I've been able to put together, and this is just the beginning, but I'm super excited to show you. So hopefully you appreciate it. Okay, so thank you for allowing me, Katie, to show this. So this, if you can tell, this is still sitting on my laptop. Okay, we're uploading it to Google Cloud, but it's still sitting on my laptop on an index.html. Basically, I'm putting together my own job board because I was like, if I share these 10 job postings, I may hit someone or I may not. And there's only so many times that people will follow and open your emails or your posts and engage with them if there's nothing relevant for them. Everybody out there is asking themselves, what's in it for me? So if you're not hitting them constantly and you're bothering them, you're coming across as, just annoying. So anyway, I put together this job board, and right now we have only 47 jobs, but I've loaded this before with 5,300 jobs. I scraped all the job postings from Jobstream because I couldn't hold myself. This is how exciting this is. By the way, I get nothing in return in exchange for saying these things. I'm just telling you, speaking from my heart to all of you. I just couldn't wait enough for Jobstream to prepare all these job postings for me to incorporate. So I scripted the entire technology side of things, and I brought 50 some hundred jobs. And the beauty about this is that the experience is that I can, for example, let's say that I want to just find electrical jobs. I start typing, and you see how I didn't even have to press enter. So it started to narrow down in terms of the job that I'm looking for. And if I want to do minimum salary, I can, for example, say 200,000. It brought it down to 8, right? So because the job postings you may have seen, they have so much content. I was like, no, that's way too much. It's so overwhelming for anyone to read all that. So I separated this into 3 different tabs. So it's a lot easier to consume. Plus, I don't really want them to, this is part of what I teach my clients. I don't want them to actually read the whole thing. I just want them to apply. Okay, so this is not about gaming the system. This is not about just applying so that we can make more money. This is literally what we teach our clients. Is like, give yourself a chance and apply to every single job that matches the role that matches what you're looking for. And so I'm like, I don't really actually care for them to read the basic and preferred. So by putting them to the side, if they care to read them, they can read them. But otherwise, just with this, just with the job title, that's enough. We created this into, or I created this into a Pinterest type layout. We can sort, we can filter. I can even share which fields I want to see as a user. Imagine that I was actually a job seeker or a professional looking to switch jobs. I can actually hide, you know what, minimum salary, I don't care. I care to see the maximum. So I already hit that. The logo, they're all Radian in this particular case. So why do I care to see that? And I can literally hide any fields that are just basically noise in front of my eyes, right? And then the other thing is that I asked myself, I need to teach anyone who comes, whether they're my clients or just visitors onto this site. I need to teach them how to leverage this site. And this is not just another job board. This is a job board with real jobs from companies that are actually taking it seriously, that are actually paying attention to those applicants. So I thought, how can I incorporate, for example, videos where I'm explaining to them the most important questions that they have. So is the job market broken? Which is something that most people ask. Are these job postings real? I can tell them a story about each one of these and start to educate them. So this is just, I was just playing with this. I don't know whether this is going to end up sitting here or not. I thought that maybe we end up putting it here. Maybe we have a mix. We have one or we have the other. I'm not sure exactly where those videos are going to uh, to stay. But basically, then we get to view and save and copy and discard and select each one of these job postings. And those job postings move across all these different tabs. So whenever you view posting, for example, it opens it here. And now that posting, as you can see here, it says viewed automatically, but it also moved here. So I'm tracking it. Oh, I viewed it. Yeah, great. Now I can choose what I want to do with it. I want to save it and it moves over there. Or I want to, you know what? I actually don't want to discard it. And it moves over here. So let's discard it, right? Anyway, just a quick preview of what we've been working on. We haven't even put it live, but the crazy thing about this is that I share this HTML file as a zip file with the two icons here, okay? Just literally 3 files with people separately. I said, hey, check and see if there are any jobs here for you. I share this with like 3 people, and it's already made like $160 from 3 people. So I'm thinking from 236,000 people, even if you take a percentage, even if it was 10%, even if it was 1%, this could be insane. So I encourage you to think about your audience and try to create something that your audience can benefit from. Does this help? Was this inspiring somewhat? I hope.
I see our lead engineer, big heavy nod. It's definitely inspiring. You've created your own funnel for job searching. I mean,
Exactly.
we've been thinking about the value for the creator, but think about the value for the job seeker that you've approached this with. It's really impressive. And thank you so much for sharing.
Of course. A pleasure.
Um, Brian, any closing thoughts from you? Any special requests?
Mm, the only thought that I want to drop here, I don't know, each one of us has our own lens in our entrepreneurial world, or what we're doing, or journeys, just to recognize that we're significantly stronger together than alone. So I just want to encourage every single one of you to come with a mindset of how is it that we can potentially collaborate, we can do things together to empower each other, to inspire one another, to drive more value, to grow, to serve the world, to make this world a better place. Because honestly, it's messed up. Honestly, like at least the way that I see it, it's really really bad out there. I'm really concerned about most professionals who are just dependent on a single source of income. So good for you for having your entrepreneurial hat on and having another source of income. But let's make the most of this so we can serve even more people and we can help the world.
Well, thank you. That's such a nice note, I think, at the end there. And it is true. It's like but in everything that we do, it's because we're trying to give people economic opportunity,
Hmm.
for themselves and for you. So, it's definitely a new wave of creatorpreneurs, I've been calling it. I feel like we should trademark that, but it's a thing. So thank you, Brian. We're gonna send this around to, I also had put a survey up there just to get a little feedback. But if you are wondering, like, how do you get to that 1,000? It is math, just as Brian is doing the math for himself, but the 3 people who he shared it with, the opportunity was $160, with probably a other than building and vibe coding your own job board, like a little bit of effort to share the link with the people. So, if you're looking for that as a benchmark, how you get there is just the action plan is this: just post 5 highly relevant job opportunities, after you've done what you can to know what kind of jobs you need to put in front of your audience. That is the way to go. And then it's like the more consistency you bring to it. So if you're somebody who's posting once a week in a newsletter, then it becomes about a volume play. And then if you're somebody who's posting on social media, it's probably best to do that every day. I want to mention, like, we have this retargeting project that we're working on. Oh, and also if you're new and you haven't seen your dashboard, this is also live. We looked at this in our last week's co-working session, but has your all-time tracking on your earnings, and this will be where you kind of see those insights of like, what does my audience respond to? Um, Another hack I want to share is how we use LinkedIn. So, LinkedIn and building your audience on LinkedIn is really great for LinkedIn, and they're a partner and they have their role here. And for many of us, it's the first place we go to. But what I will say is the if you're already in the content creator space, you know that the algorithms can change on the dime. And it's a lot to keep up with. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Meta, Threads, and they all, every week there's like a new rule. Sometimes it's carousels, other days it's reels. Now we can put links on reels. By the way, that would be great for engaging with job content on reels now. But LinkedIn can be a great place to start, build brand awareness, but also like if you don't have a newsletter or if you want a newsletter, we have one for you. You just talk to us and we can get you set up with one. But start thinking about your creator business as your own business, and like what that means is owning your audience, and not in like the cringy way, but like how can I get in touch with my people? How can I learn more about their needs? How can I support them best and get closer to how I can help them? The only way to do that is really having your own creator business CRM, basically. So there's many ways to do that. Newsletters have been a growing channel for a reason. I think there are tons of wonderful partners out there. And if you're looking to do content across lots of different topics other than jobs, we would recommend Beehive, Substack. Like we work with all of those. If you wanted to just do jobs and it's like automated newsletters to your audience, we can do that too through Jobstream. So, there is my note on newsletters. Instagram, I want to call out that Reels did start putting links in their Reels. That's also a great place to test. Another great place to test is Threads. That conversation is already happening on Threads all day long. Oh, yes, Brian, jump in.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to drop something to your point with regards to LinkedIn, how the algorithm changes constantly. Put yourself in the shoes of the product creators. So let's say LinkedIn, platform creators. They don't want you to be sending people out of their platform, and they don't want you to necessarily be promoting all these job postings outside the platform either, right? I mean, they're a job board. They have a job board. So one of the things that has worked incredibly well for me is get them to actually comment. You tease them with what it is that you have, right? Tease them. We have the highest paying jobs in whatever. Let's say in technology. So we have a software developer for 350,000. Don't make up anything, right? As long as it's true. If you're interested in this, drop me a comment or reach out to me via private message, or do both so that I can really notice you, right? My highest post in terms of engagement had like 40,000 likes and something like 40,000 comments and 13,000 reshares by saying this. You need to tell people what it is that you want them to do, right? Also be mindful that potentially a lot of your audience, if it is on LinkedIn, they don't want to necessarily give away the fact that they're looking for a job if they are employed, right? So those who are unemployed, sure. But those who are employed, they are not going to necessarily engage with your post. So give them the avenues for them to be able to reach out to you. So put yourself in the shoes, and also in the shoes of your audience, in the shoes of the platform. And with regards to LinkedIn, talk super highly of LinkedIn, right? Talk super highly about how LinkedIn has these amazing features and easy apply, whatever it is. But when people reach out to you, then you can send them over to the job postings that you have, your newsletter that you have. One last thing, if you don't mind, that I did that worked really well was I have a really close relationship with my clients. And for example, I had a client that I said, he asked me, can you give me access to Jobstream? And of course, we don't have permissions, to give access to that. So I said, you know what? Which are the keywords that you're searching for when you're searching for a job? He said, this and this and this. I said, okay. So I literally searched for this on Jobstream before I created this. I copied all the different job postings. I gave him 25 jobs, and then he applied to 3 of those. So it all depends on the type of relationship that you have with people. Now, can you do it for 1,000 people? Most likely not. And this is the reason why I have the job board. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a great point and really practical, tactical stuff to go and test right away. I'm also conscientious of time. So we can end on this. We are running a referral campaign. So if you know other creators who they would benefit from having JobStream or their audience would, please use a referral link. You're going to put your name in the code. That's what you have to tell them. And then on the back end, we will just make sure to reconcile it and offer you the credit.